Buff Nation.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
No, you didn't draw it out.
I wasn't in a draw it out mood.
All right.
Welcome into DNVR Buffs Primetime. We are presented by Illegal Pete's, everyone's go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beers. And we brought him back. Welcome back, Unc.
I'm back. I'm actually back like I never left.
Yep.
Always.
Back like I'm avenging my brother's death. I told you I had bars, man.
This is your second home now, basically.
Honestly, actually my first home.
Oh, really?
I'm homeless, so
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
going to crash here. Bartender likes me. You know, she has a Neely playlist going. Music changed when I walked in. She didn't think I'd notice.
One thing about Unc is he loves making people uncomfortable.
I do, man. Thanks for recognizing. I do. I love giving people the business.
And
She didn't know what to go
No,
with.
and you had her on a string,
Yep.
just wherever you, just pulling her
It was
wherever
hilarious,
you want.
man. I started with Jake, though. I whispered to Jake. I said, "Is this playlist because I'm here?" And he let it go. I said, "All right, well, she's the next target." Man.
Yep. And then I told you that the opposite happens to me when I'm in Ubers.
They turned the hip hop off and play country.
Yeah.
Is what you told me.
Yeah, he turns around and is like, 98.5 KYGO. I'm like, hey, I like this, but I also like that. What are you doing to me?
Well, Jeremiah Brown likes it all. Like he's Jeremiah Brown.
Did you see that video?
He's a country fan, man.
I saw when he was singing Chris Stapleton.
Man, he loves it.
I love that.
He's a country music king, man.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right, let's get into it. Let's
We
talk
should.
about what happened today. I don't know. What do you want to talk about? What's the latest happenings at practice in Boulder that you can tell us about?
I think that one of the key things is you're starting to see guys who were quote unquote injured back at practice. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to play this weekend. We go to Arizona, but Miles Slusher was back. Carter Stoudemire's back. Shiloh is back out there. Yellow Jersey was back out there. So I think that's a good indicator for the team when you look at what we were able to do with USC with a quote-unquote depleted secondary as far as our starters and experienced guys go. To have those guys back at practice this week, I think that's a check mark.
Felt like the team's already gotten tested depth-wise in terms of injuries and everything. So
Absolutely. When you're missing 3 starters, really 4, when you look at significant playing time, and you still held a Heisman Trophy winner, pretty much in check, and you look at some of the big plays we're giving up, that play doesn't happen. That third down where he's scrambling around, that doesn't happen if Travis and Shiloh are in the game. No disrespect to who we went with, because Cooper, some of those guys had big games as well, but I think it did give a lot of confidence that, hey, man, the guys behind us can do this. Look what happened at safety. Look what happened at corner. We're good, man.
Yep.
We got some depth and got talent at it.
Yeah, and like I mentioned last week, I think it was, if there's one place where they could handle a little bit of adversity in terms of testing the depth, it was in the secondary. But you don't want to do that and then have to play Bo Nix and Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's one of the challenges of the Pac-12, but now they're on a little bit of a streak here where they get, I'll call it a break from top-tier quarterback play. I mean, these might be the 3 best games you have left in terms of who you're going against on the other side.
Agreed.
With ASU, Stanford, and even UCLA.
For sure.
Who's starting a true freshman at quarterback.
Agreed. I like it.
we spoke to Omari Miller and Rod Ward today after practice. Omari Miller, man, just the star of Boulder now, basically.
What a breakout performance, man. I mean,
know.
it's one thing to go from, a couple of catches and 50 yards, but 0 targets, 0 catches to touchdown 196 against USC. I mean,
Crazy.
I talked to him post-game, man. He said he dreamed it. They had him stand up at the team dinner and say they believed in him. Did he believe in himself? What are you going to do? And he said, I'm not going to let you down. He was talking to Coach Rashad, and he went out there the next day and did not let anybody down. Shocked the world.
He's been crushing it, man.
And let me just say this. It's a huge kind of boon to the team for all the guys who haven't played yet. Because
Well said.
all of a sudden, every guy who hasn't been out there yet is thinking, oh, okay, it's not over for me. And the same thing can be said for Rod Ward. Now everyone perks up in their chair a little bit and says, okay, my time could be coming still, and it's easy. It's just human nature when 5 games have gone by and you haven't played to just be like, damn, man, I might just not be good enough, or I might just not crack the rotation. You see 2 guys in game 5 break 3, including Cormani.
Sure.
Break out. Then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I can still get there. I can still get this going.
And what Pat Shurmur said was that's the difference between working and whining. That there are a lot of guys in his coach's experience who don't get a shot. Games go by, weeks go by, and instead of to keep on working, they start whining and they take themselves out of the process. And he said that when you look at what happened with the players you just named, there are players who didn't necessarily whine about it. They kept working, and when the opportunity came and they made the most of it, now it's going to be a challenge for coaches to go away from it because it works so well.
Yep.
It's just why it's so important to be a good teammate and to just come to work every day and literally prepare like you're going to play, because you never know when your moment comes.
Let me tell you who
especially in
you
this
just
sport.
described. You just described yourself.
No, thank you. Appreciate you.
Hey,
It's true.
You're a worker, not a whiner, man. And we give you reason to whine, and you take
I have plenty
working.
of reasons to whine.
I'll
trust
also
me.
say this. what a endorsement for recruits.
Yep.
Here's what's going to happen. You're going to come to Colorado. Maybe it takes you a few games to get on the field. You're going to meet DeBaby and Deshaun Jackson
Yep.
and Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce on the
Yep.
sideline before the game. You're going to play in front of a sold-out crowd, in front of 7 to 10 or more million people on television. And the first time you get a chance to go out there, if you shine, you're going to be on every platform, everywhere you go. Oh, and Snoop Dogg's going to FaceTime you.
Perfect transitions. Omari Miller, first thing he talked about today, he was asked about kind of being the big man on campus now. He said, it's been very fun. Every app I open, I just see myself now.
That's such a sick quote.
I know. He was also asked about the call with Snoop Dogg. He again said that was crazy. He was just telling him to keep on working. He also spoke about Shador. He called him a high-level quarterback, a very high-level quarterback. There's not many people like him. He's going to tell you what you need to know and do. He was then asked about...
And you better listen.
Yep.
If you want the ball.
He was then asked about what Coach Prime said after the USC game, which is that Omarion didn't practice well in the lead-up to that game. And he said, I agree. I dropped a couple easy balls, and he got on me for that. Like he said, be ready when your name is called. It was all like a dream, and it came true. And then it got really interesting, man.
Really quick, did you see, I can't remember what video it was in, but Omarion was talking about his performance, and he basically said, like, I couldn't even sleep the night before. I was just sitting in my room imagining myself making plays. If that doesn't tell you something about the power of manifestation, then listen closer.
Yep.
Because I think he even said, like, his roommate in the hotel was like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
And he's just like, I'm just thinking about making plays.
Yep.
I love that.
Me too, man. He was asked why he came to see you. He was committed to LSU at one point, also committed to Nebraska, I believe. And he said it was all because of Coach Corey Phillips, Director of Player Personnel. He was obviously at LSU before, and he said he built that relationship. Then he just ended up coming here with Coach Prime, and he built a relationship with Coach Prime, couldn't turn it down. He was asked about Nebraska. He didn't play in that game, but as I just said, was a Nebraska commit. He said, it was a very fun game. I wish I could have played more. I wish I could have scored a touchdown on them. I love it.
Next year.
You
Got another chance next year.
Of course, Travis still on the sidelines. He's been coaching, really. And he said about Trav always helping me out. He was just telling me what to do and take over. Put the team on my back is what Travis told Omarion.
I love that. Travis is such a special person to have on your team.
He really is.
From a work ethic standpoint, from a skill standpoint, from a teammate standpoint, from a human standpoint, he just checks all the boxes.
I only got two things from Rod Ward because Omarion was just kind of spitting like in the last minute of his press conference. But Rod Ward said, we know what it takes to win. Everyone's practicing hard. Obviously playing in a very talented secondary. He talked about that, talked about Travis kind of coaching. He also spoke about Omarion Cooper, said Coop is a dog. Me and him go back and forth on who's the biggest hitter. I feel really comfortable with Coop in the game. And then I asked him about Omari Miller, whether he saw that performance coming on Saturday, and he said, oh, yeah, he's a dog also. We've just seen it in practice. It was a matter of time, basically. That's it.
And I sent this to our social media manager, Nick, because someone pointed it out to me last night. They said, hey, Dylan Edwards told you that was coming. Remember when Dylan was sitting right here?
Yep.
He said, We said, who are the 5 players who have impressed you the
Yes,
most
he
this
did.
summer? And he
Yep.
said, number 1, Omari and Miller.
Yep. Mm-hmm. What did you see from him early on?
A freshman, I hear everything that everybody's saying, and I love it. But I've also been at practice all
Sure.
summer long and understand exactly what Coach Prime is saying. When you watch the pregame show, Reach the People, Well Off Media, like these are highlight reels. And so you see some of the better of the best moments happen. But just like Kermani has been dealing with freshman growing pains, Miller was dealing with it too. And that impacted their play time.
Yeah.
But one thing that Pastor E. Dewey Smith pointed out, the guy you cussed at,
My guy.
is, hey, man, some people don't test well. So you can give some people, don't practice well, but they play great and that kind of thing. So I think you're seeing the manifestation of that. And but I think there's also going to be a coming to Jesus, no pun intended with Pastor Smith, but where you have to get on Coach Prime's way of doing things if you're going to be successful long term in a Coach Prime organization. But I like them both. The arrow is pointing up, man. I think it did a lot for their work ethic and what they bring to the table to have been challenged like that in the previous weeks and days and then have a performance like they had and have Coach Prime, even in the locker room post-game, call them up and say, hey, man, fist bump, good job. Hey, Kermani, I've been on you. I'm going to stay on you. Good. Man, take the earrings out. It doesn't stop. The coaching doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Yep. By the way, Pastor Smith retweeted me yesterday, so I think that's a sign that
Oh, y'all good, man.
we're clear.
You're absolved.
Yeah.
All is forgiven.
That's hilarious, man. All right. Let's move on and talk about some portal stuff. Coach Prime put a tweet out about the portal today.
Yep.
All right.
What did it say again? Did
It
it just
said,
say
all
hi?
recruits and portal dogs. I ain't hard to find.
There you go, man. All right. Shout out
Also,
to Fubo.
settle this in the chat. If you're talking about a dog like he is, DAWG or DOG? What's your opinion?
We'll get back to it after the break. Shout out to Fubo. Guys, get in on Fubo now. They've got the Pac-12 network. You'll be able to watch
Yeah, you might want to get on that
this
now.
Saturday's game. No problems.
Yep.
But Fubo's the best, man. It's got Red Zone. It's got the Big Ten network. It's got all those networks, SEC network, everything you need to watch, all the college football you desire. 1,000 hours of cloud DVR, 140 plus live channels of sports shows, movies, and news.
There are going to be so many people back east where I'm from,
Yeah.
east of the Mississippi, that are going to be so heartbroken Saturday
bro.
afternoon when they can't watch this game. So this ad could not be
Yep.
better placed.
They gotta
You
have
better get on
Fubo.
it.
Yeah.
They gotta have Fubo.
You can go to www.fubotv.com/DNVR to sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro. You can also start watching immediately with the free trial. So
There's going to be a lot of
while you
free
can.
trials Friday night and Saturday morning.
Yep, you better get on it. We're getting a lot of DAWGs in the chat.
And someone said that's not even a question. Well, it is. The reason I asked it is because Coach Prime went with the other spelling.
Yep.
I always go with the AWG
Coach Prime
spelling.
probably went with the spelling that autocorrect.
He probably got autocorrected
Yeah.
for sure.
It's like when you see me say duck. I wasn't typing duck. So just roll with it.
Also,
You didn't mean I'm ducking on my way. Chill out.
Not at all.
duck you. Shout out to Foco, the leading manufacturer of sports and entertainment merchandise, with a product line that includes apparel, accessories, toys, collectibles, novelty items. They've got all kinds of cool stuff, guys. They got bobbleheads, they got overalls, they got straw hats. I don't know. What else would you want, Coach Prime or CU related? That's
Oh, man,
not
I'm going with the
conventional.
overalls and shirtless underneath. I'm talking about nothing between me and the good Lord but the overalls themselves.
You just reminded me of Vince Wilfork walking into Hard Knocks.
Yes.
You got to do it, man. Temp is starting to change here, though, so I may
Yes,
have
it is.
missed my opportunity.
I don't
Because
know.
speaking of practice, this morning walking out
It
there,
was chilly.
oh yeah, I was walking down the ramp with Weaver, and he was like, man, Unc, it's cold out here. I said, a couple more days like this, and Coach Prime, we're going inside.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you don't play that cold stuff.
That's like perfect football weather.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
It was perfect, like attending a game weather. It felt all you needed was like some charcoal smoke in there. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a game weather.
That's why I put on my, comfy.
Yeah. It was a little bite
Sweater
in the air,
today.
a little
Yep.
brisk, but it wasn't freezing. It was good practice.
No wind
weather.
and you're good.
Yep.
Yeah. But shout out to Foco. Go check them out for everything. I mean, they've got baseball teams, football teams, college and pro, basketball as well. Foco always has our back for Colorado sports, and they have yours too. Get the best gear around by using the link in our description. For all non-presale items, use the promo code DNVR, and you'll get 10% off.
And shout out to the bartender who is still clearly playing my playlist.
There you go.
Yeah, DMX is bumping down there, man.
I actually need to just ask her what channel she played on Spotify. Or
I think she typed in Uncle Neely and just hit enter.
We need Amanda back. That's all I'll say.
See, you gotta broaden your horizons, Jake.
I like what I like, man.
I'll DJ in the car next time.
There we go.
All right. The NCAA is changing transfer rules. A few things.
Yep.
One,
Let us
the
know.
transfer window, and two, the transfer cap on non-graduate transfers.
Okay.
We are getting unlimited transfers in that are non-graduate transfers now.
Unlimited.
Don't, please. And then the portal window has been shortened from 60 days to 14. 30 days after the season ends, 15 days in the spring.
The only way that the world can seemingly have a chance to do what they think Coach Prime is doing, but they're still not Coach Prime. I think there are going to be even more rule changes to come in the future. Even nitpicking rules. Like, one thing that Coach Prime has is relationships that nobody else has. And I mean, you're gonna see stuff in a couple seasons, man. Like, hey, no artist can bring a team out,
Yeah.
because everybody can't do it. So you can't have Lil Wayne bringing your team out on the field, because anything they're gonna say is like a recruiting advantage, but it's just his personal relationships. And when you look at the portal days or removing the cap, man, he's gonna feast with it.
I should add that the portal window, again, that's only to enter the portal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Once you're in, you can do whatever you want. You can take forever if you really
Right.
want
It's like the Roman Empire.
Oh my God.
Thank you for that. I was gonna find a way to work Roman Empire into the show.
Not bad. Our chat loves Romans.
I like that, man. Neither should be swamp people with the nut. I love it. Shoot it!
As it relates to this, I actually agree with your thought that, hey, this is kind of like them trying to level the playing field, maybe. At the same time, this is a huge advantage for Coach Prime.
Yes.
Because he was able to do what he did this year only because it was his first year as coach.
Yep.
You were given like a special exemption when you're first year. But now, look, Coach Prime is always going to have the number one recruit or the number one transfer portal class in the country.
Yep.
Because one, of what he's showing he can do with transfers right now. And two, of course you want to go play for Coach Prime. Like, all these guys are going to want to do that. So now he's going to have an unlimited amount of transfers that he can bring in a given season. The only thing that I will say that will complicate this a little bit is the one-time transfer rule.
Yes.
So guys who transferred here this season, even if they're not in the mix right now, are going to have to risk what happened to Tyler Brown to leave.
Yep.
So, if Coach Prime wants to open up spots, it's going to be a little more difficult for him this time around than it was this last year.
Right.
That being said, they might get more lenient about the waivers next year and beyond.
Yeah.
And also, he'll find a way.
Absolutely. And that's where I was going with my hat on the nail. There are situations where when you're trying to level the playing field, have equal, nobody have an advantage, there's not a lot you can do because of who Deion Sanders is and what Deion Sanders is capable of, who Coach Prime is and what Coach Prime is capable of. You can try to make some things, okay, Jake, now you got a better shot than you had, but that same better shot only makes it advantageous for him too.
Yep.
Because if you're looking at, this grad situation, for instance, if you're a guy like a Shane Coates and you got one shot at it, who would you want to spend that 1 year with? Mm-hmm. The only coach in America with a gold jacket.
Yep.
The only coach in America who's going to make sure millions of people see you play every weekend. The only coach in America who commands scouts at practice and at games. So it just is what it is, man.
Yeah. And, if you put wind behind the 40-yard dash, fastest player is still going to run the fastest.
Right.
I like that one.
I mean, obviously, it's just massive, man. I mean, you already broke it down with the grad transfers, but the thing, too, like, we've already seen it. Like, Dylan's a guy. He played for Coach Prime when he was a kid. There's lots of guys out there like that. And this is kind of, they're obviously Shiloh and Shador's, like, age range, like, so there's going to be tons of guys that are going to want to come here. Now you got uncapped undergraduate transfers. I mean, I think we already expected this thing to take off kind of next year, right?
Yeah.
Man, they just put more gas into the Lamborghini, basically.
I'm thinking about, you talk about Shador, and I'm thinking we're going to see the full Peyton Manning effect this offseason with Shador, which is every receiver in the country should want to come play with him, especially grad transfers.
Oh, absolutely.
So they're going to have their pick. And, they're going to have to be turning away wide receivers.
Absolutely.
Who are going to want to come play, hey, I'll give me 1 year with the best quarterback in America.
But dog, this is why I've said to y'all and anybody who will listen, I appreciate y'all for listening. Fist bump there, Jake. You always leave me hanging. There it is. Is you're going to reach a situation in Colorado where there are going to be people who turn down scholarships to other places to walk on here. Because the opportunity here is worth finding another way to pay for school.
And
because you can't replicate the opportunity here. So it may not be a scholarship for you or your position or whatever the situation may be, but like, damn it, I got to find a way to play for Colorado. I'll walk on.
And I bet that will happen, especially with Colorado recruits, like state of Colorado recruits.
I feel you.
But obviously, I mean, just for the right now, I mean, Coach Prime and what CU have done, they focused on grad transfers, right? They wanted to kind of bring in that experience, kind of because they wanted to, but also because, I mean, as you mentioned, if you're going to play 1 year, why not for Coach Prime?
Absolutely.
But you're going to have guys, I mean, who's to say all these Michigan State guys, like you just went through all this.
Yeah.
Come get stability under the best coach in the country with Coach Prime.
And not to mention the grad transfers also open that scholarship up immediately next year. And Coach Prime always knew I'm going to be targeting an even higher caliber of player next year. So I need to make sure I have room.
The beauty of it is like we're sitting here talking about this opportunity of grad transfers coming in. And then on this hand, you got like Dylan Edwards and Omari Miller who are freshmen.
I know.
Like you're working this system perfectly with both ends. And then in the middle, you still didn't exhaust all your scholarships.
Yep.
Right.
Like you still got scholarships in your pocket. So you got freshmen that you're coaching up. Like, Kermani is here, Omari Miller is here, Dylan Edwards, the impact they've had a true freshman. Grad transfers like Shane Cokes and others through this process, and still got scholarships available.
Yep.
Love it.
For sure. I guess the other thing we just haven't talked about is the transfer portal window. So 15 days in the spring, I mean, it was kind of because of CU had a late spring game, right? They were at the very end of April. I don't know how that's going to play into things because obviously people left into the portal from CU before that spring game.
Yeah.
But man, these decisions are going to be had really quickly. Like
I think that's the change, but I think that's the change even on the initial offer side as well.
Yeah.
That because of the transfer portal in general, even when you're recruiting a high school kid, I don't care if he's a junior in high school, you got to, and this is not a Colorado thing, this is college football. You can't sit on scholarship offers anymore. They're going to evaporate much faster than they used to because you may be a senior coming out of high school, but with the portal, you're competing with guys with experience. And no one's going to wait around 6 months, 8 months, 9 months like they would have done 8 years ago for you to say yes. So same thing with the portal, same thing with high school. The answer time period is now faster and is upon you more. So when you're out there tweeting, hey, I got an offer from this school, all right, you better accept it soon. Because there's someone about to get in the portal that has more experience at that position than you and can help a team faster than you. And, like when Coach Prime got here, it's about winning now. We're not building a program to win later. We're going to win.
And I think the transfer portal actually will almost take opportunities away from high school kids.
It does.
For sure. And they're just going to have to essentially go through the same process of like, this is an extreme version, but like Javon Antonio, right? It's like, okay, well, the scholarships to Colorado just aren't there because they're getting so many guys out of the portal that they're maybe only taking 15 freshmen or less. But, take your in where you can get in, go ball out and then, be the next
Absolutely.
guy who transfers up there.
Absolutely. I know this is a football show, a Colorado football show, but you're going to see that a lot in basketball because the window and the number of players even smaller. So you're the number 3 shooting guard in the nation in high school, and you're legit that. But when the portal opens up, you're like the number 24 shooting guard.
Yeah,
So,
maybe.
so you got to say yes way sooner than you would have had 2 years ago.
Yep.
Because that offer is going to go away, man.
And the portal in basketball is crazy just because one player can make such a difference.
Yeah.
There was a player CU targeted this year who it was a done deal, but because everyone's out there looking,
Yep.
big programs came calling with big numbers behind what they were saying,
Yep.
and all of a sudden things change.
And that's why the collective, the NIL stuff that we're on board with supporting here heavily, it means even more now.
Yep.
Because you got to be able to get outside of the program, outside of what coaches are doing and those kind of things, and as a community and a fan base and alums, be able to help attract the best talent to your school with offering kids, where they can work with nonprofits in the community and also take care of themselves and sustain a lifestyle and cost of living, all those kind of things go into play, man. So it's now bigger than it ever was.
Yep. And just on this year's roster, I mean, I'm sure guys are going to enter the portal. I don't think we're going to be surprised.
No, not at all.
I mean, maybe there'll be a surprise here and there just with a name, but guys are going to leave.
Yeah, absolutely.
it
You
happens
have to re-recruit your own team. That's the first step. Is like you identify who you want back. Sit down and talk to them about why they should stay and the benefits of being here, and let those chips fall where it may. But you're absolutely right, Jake. We're going to get to a point in this program when the season is over. Oh, I can't believe fill in the blank left. It happens.
Yep.
It happens.
Yep. But also the transfer rule that has kind of worked against them with Tyler Brown not being able to play could work in their favor in terms of developing talent moving forward.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's going to make some people sit tight too.
Totally. And there's guys on this team now that everyone wants to, contribute right away. And it's like, for example, Alton McCaskill, who, it hasn't made the impact that everyone thought he had the opportunity to yet as he's coming back from injury. He is a sophomore, a redshirt sophomore in his career. So he has so much time to develop and become, what everyone thought he could become. And the unfortunate part of the transfer portal is if that guy committed here originally and wasn't playing, then you're worried, okay, well, he's going to transfer. With the second transfer, there's a little more security on the team side to be able to actually develop those guys and help them become, as good as they can be.
Well drawn up, well said. And specifically when you look at Alton, man, I don't see an unhappy guy. I see a guy who loves being here, man, and is still aggressively working toward that opportunity and patiently waiting on that opportunity because he believes in himself and know what he brings to this team. But when you have depth in a room, like you talked about it, we have a receiver, that running back room is depth. And frankly, Hank has earned the lion's share of those reps because, and I know I'm getting into specifics with what you said in the real world, but that's how it kind of all plays out. So you make sure, the guys that you want to stay, and you help them stay, and then bring in who you can. And it's just, I think that there's no program in America, Colorado, or no coach in America, Coach Prime Deion Sanders, that is more equipped right now and going forward to be able to milk all the milk they can out this cow.
Yep. Real quick on Hank, is this going to be the first week that you guys expect, going in, Hank's getting 60, 70% of the carries?
I do.
I think so.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I think he's earned that. I think he's proven that when he gets it, he's going to do something with it. And that's no slight to the other guys in the room, but there's this magical things that happen, a series of unfortunate or fortunate events. So Jake is my guy. I give him the ball. Jake doesn't do what I thought he'd do. I go with the next guy, and he does do it. Well, the next guy is, when we come back after halftime, who's running it?
Yep.
Because he's shown me today that he has it. Mm-hmm. Well, that happens 2 games. The room starts to solidify. So what you want to make sure is that the people in the room, there's no infighting, backbiting, like Coach Sherman said, that we're working instead of whining, because those opportunities will come back around. So I believe going into Arizona, that Hank has proven, man, that option 1 is you.
Love it.
Love it, man. And just to bring it all around with what you said before we started talking about Hank, I mean, There's no better coach in America for the transfer portal era than Coach Prime. And
Man, y'all
putting
showed-
that tweet out was absolutely genius.
Y'all showed me another coach with a gold jacket, and I'll discuss it with you. But as long as there's one coach in America with a gold jacket, the decision is clear to me.
Well, just imagine how many kids are out there right now who are unsure of their spot on their current team, or
Yeah.
they think their current head coach is going to get fired, and they see that tweet that Coach Prime just put out today. Gets the gears working.
And not to to pound this in too much. There's only one
Pause.
thing. There's only one thing that's stopping Coach Prime from not only dominating the transfer portal, but dominating the freshman recruiting at the same level, and that's the NIL. If NIL didn't exist right now,
Oh, it'd be over.
I guarantee you Colorado would have the #1 recruiting class right now.
I agree.
So, once again, 5430 Foundation, we got to help Coach Prime on that
Got
front.
to do it. Got to do it. We can't just count on him and his gold jacket and all the things he brings to the table. Because one thing about our coach, man, when he sit down with mom and daddy, ain't no promises, no playing time, no promises, no starting, none of that. He doesn't sell or offer anything but an opportunity for you to come here and be the best you can professionally on and off the field. But you have to have those outside collectors and NILs like the other schools have, that they can do the external things from school to make sure the best and the brightest are getting a fair look at Colorado.
There's few chances in sports where you as a fan actually have a real opportunity to make a difference.
Yep.
Right now in college football, you have that opportunity with NIL. So 5430foundation.org.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to DraftKings. Last I saw, last night, the Buffs were -4 heading into ASU. We need a pick of the week, though, Ryan.
All right, I'm going to get you the pick of the week as I open up. I want to make sure I have the correct number.
Okay.
So I will go on to DraftKings Sportsbook.
So these kind of training wheels are cool.
Yeah,
Like
see,
that's necessary information.
taking you behind the scenes here. DraftKings Sportsbook. I go up to the top. There's a search bar. I love that they have a search bar.
Yeah.
Type in Colorado. Click on that. Go down into team props, where I find Colorado team total points over under 33.5. And then I press over, and that's my DraftKings pick of the week.
There you go.
Last week, that was my DraftKings pick of the week last week too.
Yep.
It was 24.5, and they almost doubled it.
Yep.
Look, man, y'all have heard me say it time and time again. The best indicator of future performance is past performance. And when you look at our yardage and our scores, the points we put up, regardless of the win or loss, I like your pick of the week.
Yeah, I mean every game but one they've covered this.
Literally, the Oregon game.
Yep.
Yep.
I love it. I love it.
Buffs.
Look at Coach Prime on this right there rapping, man.
What
What is this?
That's Florida State's rap video they put out.
This is
Number
like
2
the
is right
Super
up
Bowl
front.
shuffle.
Yeah,
Florida
there he
State.
is.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
Is this
Amazing.
a 30 for 30 or something?
Which one is this?
It's I don't know the name of it, but it's the one where Miami used this against them
Is
to
this-
go on a win.
Oh, is
Catholics
this the U?
versus convicts, or is it the U?
I think it's that one,
Okay.
or it might be just one based on Free Shoes University, and that whole thing started.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, shout out to DraftKings. The Buffs are -4.5 over there at DraftKings Sportsbook. Get in on the game day greatness. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code DNVR. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet $5 on the NFL. That's code DNVR only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles in Louisiana. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gambling resources.
Great job, Jake.
Good job.
Also, shout out,
Notice we didn't interrupt you.
I appreciate
that
that. Shout out to us, guys.
We were listening to Biggie.
Yeah.
Shout out to us. If you guys are enjoying the content, consider becoming a DNVR diehard. Head on over to thednvr.com and sign up. You get a free shirt when you sign up. You get 20% off merch always, 20% off all events. You get access to the Diehards Only Discord. You get exclusive merch, a physical diehard card, tons of stuff. Friday, we will not be here, but on Friday we have an event here at the DNVR bar. It's called Next from Nashville. It is free. We've got happy hour from 6 to 8 p.m., half off select apps, $4 well whiskeys, $20 mix and match buckets. It's a little like country show from.
I was gonna say Next from Nashville sounds like the radio show the Uber driver puts on. Right?
Exactly. We'll have a ton of different acts here at the bar, so come hang out on Friday. If you're not coming out to hang out with us in Tempe.
Yeah. Speaking of, we will let you guys know where we're gonna be on Friday night in Tempe. Working on a few things, but we're gonna have a good time. I know that.
We're gonna have a great time. The three of us will be there.
First time, because last time we were out, on a road game together, we had a 10 a.m. game the next day.
Yeah.
So now, we can.
We got a minute before kickoff.
We can be out. There's this one place in downtown Tempe that gives you like a bucket, like your drink is just a bucket,
You just
hold it by the bucket handle.
That's
And
crazy.
you have a straw.
I love it.
Shout out to SoCal Buff. He says diehard and 5430 contributor Sco.
Let's go, Buffs.
Let's go, man.
That's what to do.
That's
Go.
awesome.
Love that.
All right.
It is a 501c3.
It absolutely is.
Coach Prime met with the Sixers. They're doing camp up in Fort Collins at CSU.
Okay, we must start here.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful thing that the Philadelphia 76ers did their training camp at Colorado State University.
Yes.
And at the first opportunity they could,
Yep.
they hopped on a bus to Boulder.
Yep.
They're like, we gotta get out of here. We gotta go see Coach Prime. I love it.
Hilarious, man. But Coach Prime brought KJ Simpson, Tristan Da Silva, and Cody, right? Those three?
Yes. And this is a cool kind of anecdote story that I was told today. Essentially, Coach Prime found out that, he was going to be going to dinner with the 76ers and immediately called over to the basketball program and said, hey, give me these guys. We've got room for, 3 players. So give me KJ, Tristan, and Cody. And I want to bring them to meet the Philadelphia 76ers. And I mean, these guys got to rub shoulders with the owner, the head coach, the general manager, like unbelievable opportunity for them. And just, I mean, what a moment and what a, feather in the cap of Coach Prime in terms of what we always talk about, which is that he wants everyone around him to win, literally and figuratively. And so in this opportunity, in this instance, he saw an opportunity to help the basketball program. And he immediately took it. And I just think that is really special and really cool because a lot of coaches get to a university and just like silo in. And they're just like, all I care about is me and my program.
Yep.
And I think when Coach Prime was hired, people wouldn't have been surprised if like he never even talked to Tad Boyle. Like football coaches are like that. But he's the opposite, and he wants everyone to win. And so, as I was kind of learning about this story, I was told another story, which is that Coach Prime told every coach at the University of Colorado, hey, look, I've got a little bit of an opening on my schedule, Friday home games. If you guys want me to help or meet any of your recruits that you bring in, bring them to me, check with my, my people to make sure it works scheduling wise. And I'm happy to help you recruit. And so last week you've got Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, talking to women's lacrosse recruits on their official visit to Boulder. Like that is special. That is different.
Yep.
That is unlike anyone else in the country.
I mean, you've seen it more so firsthand than we have, just being at Jackson and stuff. But the Prime effect, people talk about it, and they always talk about football. But the Prime effect it knows no bounds.
Absolutely, and it's many levels and facets to it. One, he's just a good guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like he's just a great human being. And even as it relates to the football program and wanting those around him to win the other sports as well, he understands, even with humility, who he is and what he brings to the table, and that I can help you. And so if I can help you, please call on me and I will. I mean, at Jackson State, he got through Smack Entertainment he got the tennis team new tennis courts. It has nothing to do with football.
Yeah.
You know, I was working with the soccer coach to get them some stuff. Because one thing that he appreciates is that everything in this sphere of influence impacts football. And if I build a winning football program here and the cafeteria isn't right, or the financial aid department is slow, or the city of Boulder has potholes, like he makes sure everything that has a road and inroad to and from his program is operating at the same level that he wants his program to operate. So you're going to see more of it, man. Like, I've seen him help recruit ROTC people to Jackson State. Tennis courts, like if it touches him and he touches it, he wants to help it be successful.
It's amazing. And, you know, we haven't even talked about it in a while, but like you mentioned, the food, that benefits every student athlete.
Absolutely.
That is not just football players who get served, you know, steak and lobster.
Yeah.
That when that's in the cafeteria, that is going to everyone. Everyone has that same opportunity all the way down, you know, to any sport that is a varsity sport at Colorado.
And I think when people hear him say things, they hear it from an assumed arrogant position. You know, you've said so many times, RK, that he's probably the most misunderstood person as far as people thinking it's about him, but he's really making it about other people.
Yep.
And, you know, over time, you hear him say things like, when I walk in the room, the temperature changes. But you have to appreciate the temperature changes for everyone else that was in the room, too.
Yeah.
And everyone else that's coming in the room behind him. It's not changing just for him. It's changing for everybody in that room. So you're damn right, when he stepped in here last December and January and started meeting with the cafeteria folks on what he wanted to see change for football, it changed for tennis players and golf players to eat there. So everybody has an upgraded menu and service. Because one thing he understands is that, man, mama want to know two things. What a baby going to eat and where a baby going to sleep.
Yep.
I got the coaching part. I'm going to make him a better person, better player, better man. But where he sleeps and eats, and because all these things are in Boulder, as time goes on, you're going to see him doing more things with the city of Boulder, the county, and even the state, because he knows, well, my program is in Colorado and it's in Boulder, so it's all impactful.
Yeah. And just to tie a bow on like the help with the recruiting, I legitimately wouldn't be surprised if there are coaches who have come through here, head coaches of the Colorado football team, who didn't even know the name of Ann Elliott, the head coach of CU women's lacrosse. Yeah. Not only is he interacting with them and helping them away, he's literally helping them recruit.
Yeah.
That's
and the problem is, as you tie that bow, coaches are held accountable to winning. And there's so many things that you would like to see a coach do that doesn't have a damn thing to do with winning, that it falls off the table on their schedule of things to do. But with Coach Prime Deion Sanders, he expands the table and he adds it back on.
Yep.
Like anything that impacts his school, he's going to be involved in.
I love it.
The word I keep coming back to with Coach Prime is transcendent.
Yeah,
and it's
pretty
just,
big word, Jake.
I mean, in every sense of the word, man. He's just bigger than football. He's bigger than his program. Like, and he understands that too, which is, I think, what makes him so special. Like, he knows that he has this gift and he can share it basically with everyone around him. I mean, shoot, look at us.
Yeah.
But look at this, like, he's taking the team to the soccer games and stuff.
Yep.
Like, he is going, I'm sure they're going to be at all these women's games, all these men's basketball games too, as we get into winter sports and everything. He just gets it on a higher plane than almost anyone else.
Totally.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's get to questions. Shout out to our friends over at Illegal Pete's.
Let's get to 600 likes today.
Crush it. This episode of the DNVR Buffs Podcast is brought to you by Illegal Pete's. And right now, going through Halloween, September 31st, Illegal Pete's and O-Pen are both collaborating.
I'm just laughing at Jake getting corrected on soccer match, not game.
Oh, whatever.
That's hilarious to me.
Football. FUTBOL.
But Illegal Pete's and O-Pen have collaborated. The original plan was to create an infused queso edible. There's still some science to figure out on that. So the next best option was the infused queso pen.
Queso pen.
There's still science to figure out.
You know, I'm sure the queso pen is great for people who use those sort of things. I would be more likely to use it if it was actually just vaporized queso.
Right.
Just give me queso any way possible.
Well, if you guys buy one, you can
Does it
bring.
come in a needle? Can we inject queso? Just go straight to the
This is an
bloodstream with
IV.
it?
Give me a queso IV.
You can bring your cartridge into any Illegal Pete's location and redeem a free Small chips in queso. Shout out to Illegal Pete's.
Illegal Pete's.
Everyone's go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beers.
And pens.
And pens. Queso
And
pens.
IVs.
Yep.
Questions. Who's up today? D Mills. Has anyone played when they were in yellow on the Wednesday before a game?
Probably so. And McCaskill.
Right.
You know, when he first came out of the yellow jersey, he may have come out of it on a Wednesday or Thursday before we travel.
So, in Louise's comment adds right up with this, which is Cam was wearing the yellow jersey today. So, will he be able to play?
He's probably been in a yellow jersey the past 3 weeks at practice.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And it's just one of those precautionary things that, okay, this guy is going to bang. I would rather him get banged on Saturday, Pauls, than at practice. So just be mindful.
And when I rewatched his interception, it wasn't what I was talking about on Saturday about like the soccer goal celebration where you just grab the ball and bring it back to the center. He was hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know if it seemed like a shoulder thing, the way that he was kind of letting his arm down, fell on it. So,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
he's one of those guys, man. I think Coach Prime talked about it at the presser that he wants to play regardless. He's just like Travis. Injury doesn't matter. Situation doesn't matter. He won't chomping at the bit to always get out there. So you have to kind of pull them back in that yellow jersey at practice for Cam. He still gets to take the mental reps and the eye discipline reps as safety. He's just not out there thudding or getting thudded.
yep.
Super chat from East Coast Kev. He says, tell Coach Prime, I don't believe. Tell him I know. I knew since I was a kid that Coach Prime was a rare breed. He says Colorado finishes 10-2.
Let's go,
Wow,
Kev.
What a prediction,
Love
Kev.
it.
I love it.
Love it.
I love it.
Appreciate the super chat, Kev. GMAC with the super chat says in 2012, the Broncos played videos in the stadium to politely tell fans to shut the fuck up while Peyton was playing. We need something similar in Folsom this year. Too much noise from CU fans during the last drive.
Yeah, I think it was just situational.
Yeah.
That crowd at Folsom, and I'm the least experienced of the three here at Folsom, but that crowd is loud when it's time to be loud when they're on third down. And I think that emotions just kind of got the best of them. And sometimes, particularly in the student section, football IQ can kind of go out the window. And there were times where our bench was telling our crowd, like, hey, you know, calm down so Shador can hear and they can hear him. But I will tell you this. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Before I lose what they give me on third down on defense, if I got to put up with that occasionally, I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, look, what you have here is a bunch of students who, not all of them, but many of these students are just coming because this is the place to be.
Yeah.
And they get to go in cheaper than anyone else. And so you do have a lot of people who don't know ball yet. And what it takes is leaders in the student section standing up and telling everyone to shut the fuck up. And hey, when you take me out of there and throw me in the 209, you need someone else to step up.
Yeah.
So that's
You
what we
need to get back in there for Stanford and train somebody. All right?
Yeah.
And then step away. Like you had no succession plan.
Right.
You just left.
It wasn't my fault.
No, I know, but you got to buck the system, man. You know, we had a president that refused to leave. Just go do that.
Right.
We will storm the student section with you, man. Like I'll get my tiki torches, man. And
It's the opposite of storming the field.
yeah.
We're storming from the field into the student section. Good point. I need a special exemption.
No doubt, man.
Shannon has a question. Why aren't the grad transfers who only have 1 year eligibility left getting play in the games? Please help me understand. You only tell me exactly who you're talking about, though.
Yeah,
'cause
I don't know who's missing.
Shane's getting in there. BB's getting in there.
If anyone is not playing, it's for a reason.
Right, exactly.
They're not.
But I
they're
can't
not
think of
practicing
one
and
that's just
earning it.
glaring, that would lead me to that point.
Smoke.
But he's playing.
Yeah, he is.
He's
playing
just
on
not
special
getting
teams.
cares. Yeah, man, and he is. Let me tell you this again. Another example about people in a crowded room that's talent that have embraced the role. Smoke is a talented running back because of situations, had limited reps at that, but has more than made an impact on special teams.
Yeah.
As lackluster as our special teams have been this season, which I just knew it was going to be extra special, some of the plays that Smoke has made on special teams saved the day.
Yeah.
Like, he is a dog out there. And he also understands that if I'm going to the next level and playing on Sundays, which he will, I have to show that I can and I'm willing to play on special teams.
Yep.
So don't like throw darts at that and hate. Like, motivate those guys to embrace that. They got to do it.
Just to add to your point there, you know, when I was covering the Broncos and you're late in training camp and you're trying to figure out who's going to make the roster, and, you know, we always do a show predicting the 53-man roster. The last thing I would do before that show is make sure I'm dialed in on that practice on special teams and seeing who's in there, because there's always going to be someone who hasn't done anything that really blew your mind on offense or defense that, oh, look at that. They're at one punt, and he's out there, you know, as a gunner.
Yep.
And so, you put him right in on the roster. All you need is an opportunity to get into a camp, and if you show out on special teams, that special teams coordinator has a few guys that he can pound the table for and say, hey, look, I need this guy because he's going to be my gunner.
Yep.
What's up with Gant?
In what regard?
We're going to see him play soon?
I don't know. You know,
I think he also was out there on special teams.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about the main position, but
sorry.
I just, you know, again, another example like the smoke. He's doing his thing, man. You know,
He got a late start because of the injury.
yeah, absolutely. I was going there, and next to that is our fan base or people who just watch Colorado football. Man, this team is loaded, man.
Yeah.
This team has depth. Everybody ain't gonna play every game. You look at Cameron Silman Craig, who Coach Prime has coached since high school, came from Jackson State, was Coach Prime, and was barely seeing the field and is now leading the conference in interceptions. You know, it's like you got to let the process work itself out.
Yep. And, you know, you do, of course, but the rest of us don't get to see practice every day. So we're just going to have to trust the coaching staff is making the right decisions on
Right.
personnel.
My guy Bernard with the super chat. What will be the 2024 transfer portal versus high school recruits percentage versus 23? By the way, I don't look like an elf.
What?
I think did Neely call him an elf or something on
Why
the
would you just
post-game
put that
show?
on me?
I don't know. I feel like
Like-
we talked about this.
But why would I call somebody an elf?
I don't remember this at all.
No, I don't remember calling somebody an elf, man.
Because he super chatted after the game, and I said my guy, and someone said something. I think about that.
Okay, let's imagine it happened. Why did it have
It's
to be
got to
me?
be a clip.
Why am I the bully calling?
I mean, this
a
obviously
random-
came from somewhere.
I didn't, you know.
Anyway,
Well, right now it's just a B, so I wouldn't know he looked like an elf anyway. Like,
I
did
don't
he
know. I'm-
did he have a picture up?
I don't
Now, I
think
am
so.
quick to point out if there's a guy who I would take their lunch money or not. So I'm guilty of doing that. It's like a running joke between the two of us.
Yeah.
Don't try to leave me out there hanging.
Oh, you know what? You're right.
But I don't remember calling anybody else. You got to pull that clip up. So what is he asking them?
What was it? 70, 20, 10 this year?
no. What's Coach Prime's percentages that he wanted last year in terms of grad transfers?
Man, I don't even remember, man. This
I can't
whole
remember
year's been a
either.
blur. It really has.
I think that they're
It's-
gonna try and recruit a full high school class, though.
It's going to be heavy portal again, I think.
I think anywhere in America, if you're trying to
Win immediately.
compete right now, win right now, you have to be heavy portal.
Yeah.
Because experience matters. And if you wait to coach everybody up, you're in total rebuild mode. And that means you're trying to win 2 or 3 years from now. God bless those guys. And I hope their ADs are patient with them and fan base are patient with them. But if you take that route, you're not winning immediately.
40-40-20 was what it was.
Okay, here's what I'll tell you. There are starters at big schools right now who are going to want to transfer to Colorado.
Absolutely.
And so that's going to make a huge impact on this team next year. This is not going to be like this year where you had to take, and this is not a knock on him, but like you get Bishop Thomas, who was Scout Team Player of the Year at Florida State.
Yeah.
Like that was a win last year in the transfer portal, and it still would be. This year it's going to be, this guy was all SEC.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's transferring to
That's
Colorado.
exactly what's going to happen.
Yep. Yeah, the Keon Colemans of last year's class
Yep.
are coming to Colorado.
Absolutely.
Cat Daddy Club.
And Bishop might be one of my favorite people. I'm not talking about just on this team. I mean, just in life, man.
Let's go.
Like I
Dude
told
is
you about, I want a
hilarious.
Jake doll. I want a Bishop doll. Pull the strap, like tooth missing with the braces, everything, man. Like Jake and Bishop are my 2 favorite people in Colorado.
Thank you.
There you go. That's kind of hurts, but it's okay.
No. Okay, since you put that in there, I have to tell you the truth. I'm telling the truth on Bishop. I'm trying to build Jake up.
Yeah,
you
there
don't
we
need
go.
building up.
So you can break him down later.
I'm gonna snatch the rug right out from under him, man. So he busts his ass.
Is this the last year for all grad transfers, or is it case by case basis? No, it's case by case. Like Shiloh's got another year.
Yeah. And, this will probably be the last time it's like that, but COVID is what really kind of throws the wrench in the gears there where guys can be grad transfers. And you can graduate in 2 years and then go be a grad transfer anywhere. It's just, that's hard.
Yep.
Just looking through this roster, McClendon has another year. Jaquez has another year.
My roommate in
Savion
college
does.
was on the football team. He graduated and finished his master's before his senior year.
He's working,
That's insane.
man.
So then he had to take like a secondary master's program to keep playing.
Yeah.
Savion Washington's classified as a graduate transfer, and he's got 3 years of eligibility. So,
All right.
Yeah, it happens. Case by case is the answer.
Louis, how do I get the pregame show hoodie? Uncle Neely.
Hey, man,
I need
they're
an
coming
answer.
soon. I have been on RK's ass, and he has.
You're talking to the wrong person?
That's what he says. That's his quote, talking to the wrong person. So we're getting it sorted out, man. We're getting it sorted out. We can get some vintage stuff like this.
Yeah, I would love that.
That'd be dope.
It might even come with a black playlist built-in sleeve.
Tavon, gents, what do you think the uniform combo will be this Saturday? Gold, white, gold?
Ooh, give me gold, white, white.
All right. With the gold number unis?
I would love that.
That would look good. I haven't seen. I always tell these guys when I do see them, and then I forget some weeks as well. It's going to be white because we're the away team.
This week was great because we just happened to walk through the locker room
Right.
the night before the game.
Right.
I was like, oh, there they are. I forgot to tell you.
Do you miss the all-white, like, OG Stormtroopers at all?
I mean, they had those. That's what they wore against TCU.
But it's like with the gold accented ones, though. I'm talking like the regular, like, white and black ones.
No, the gold accented ones are better.
I lean on your historic expertise.
Daryl wants to know, is Shiloh and Slusher back healthy? We kind of already talked about this. Both are back.
they're both in practice. Shiloh's still practicing in yellow. Slusher is not. That is still not an heavy indication that they're playing this weekend, though. Because understandably, when people come back from injuries into practice, that is the first of maybe 2 steps to getting on the field.
If you had to guess on Shiloh,
He is feeling fine. I think he still has to do his lab tests, pretty regularly, and they determine, after that. If I had to guess on Slusher, I'm saying not.
okay, that's what I would have said too.
Yeah, I think Slusher is either Stanford or like Travis after the bye week.
Okay.
Because it's so close to the bye week, man. You might as well milk another week out of it.
And if you guys remember with Slush, Coach Prime told us the day after that game or whatever his next press conference was that he had to have surgery.
Yep.
So, that's a little bit longer recovery always. All right, next one.
Dimitri, what do you guys think about using Dylan more in the slot because of his speed, which opens up more reps for Alton? Dylan just hasn't been working too much out of the slot, though.
Yeah, and then,
You're not taking Jimmy out of the slot.
that's where I'm going with. Like, I think we got to remember that whether, we're 21 personnel, 11 personnel, 12, we can only play 11 people out there.
Yeah.
And when you move a running back into the slot to put another running back in, you have to mathematically drop a receiver. And so,
Unless you're going 5 wide, which then doesn't open up an opportunity for a running back.
yeah, so it's like I don't know. You could do that. I don't know successful offense-wise with everything that Jimmy Horn has been doing and our receiving core has been doing. You look at Zay and Jimmy's numbers combined. I don't know. I don't take them out the game.
And you could maybe, I guess, go 4 wide and just go 2x2 and have, Jimmy in one slot and Dylan in the other, and then bring in Alton. But I mean,
I think what you're
because
missing.
then you're taking off Michael Harrison, who's been
You
really
are
reliable.
and he's been Mr. Reliable with his hands, only one drop. I think what we got to do where that question is coming from in spirit, my assumption is to get Dylan back involved like he was at TCU, and that's checking down to him.
Yeah.
Which that's something that Shador has been looking off or not doing as much. He's has his eyes downfield, but Dylan has rolled out quite a bit and been that safety valve that we just hadn't put it there. So that gets him back involved with his speed to break away without moving him to slot and bringing another backer in.
I also think he has the disadvantage of kind of going off in that first game, and now everyone kind of keys on him. You know, like don't let 3 burn you out of the backfield.
For sure. I mean, he's always. I'm always going to be thinking that he's going to have another big game.
Because he's one touch away from doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's all he needs, and that touch will come. And I know we're going to get into our opponent Friday when we do the pregame show from there, but it's the same thing with the guy in their backfield. You say his name much better than me.
Scatterbo.
He's the one. You got to just stop him. You know, keep an eye on him. And so it's the flip situation. You could try to get creative and move him around, but the defense is keyed in on the number, not what position of field he's on.
Yeah.
You can tell this by the way he plays, but I was also told that man is a crazy person.
Oh no, he's that.
I believe it.
Yeah, and you got to have one.
Yeah,
we got a few.
Yusuf's asking where's Rob J. Rob J's back at Jackson. Get him on the show though. He's busy, but
they have games when we have games.
Yeah,
so it's hard.
It's
hard.
Maybe we can do a mid-season check-in with him though next week or bye week or one of these weeks.
Do you know when JSU's bye week is?
They just had.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, okay. It was last weekend.
We'll try. We'll get Rob back. What's up, Chad? Any news about Omar White? He's still coming to Colorado. No updates on that, man. Sorry. And then
she's playing Easy E now, and you cannot tell me that's not for me.
Varian with the super chat.
It's just your day. It's just like everything's coming up Neely today.
Was that the game and it seemed very quiet? No one yelling when the defense was playing until Tio and Sapp kept trying to rile everyone else.
I wasn't at that game.
And does that music need to be better? Sweet Caroline isn't that intense.
I would agree that Sweet Caroline isn't that intense, Miss Brandon.
I don't know if they were going for intense in that moment. They were just trying to get everyone involved.
Yeah. But noise-wise, I like the Folsom noise, and that's why I was saying earlier that if I had to put up with them making noise when they shouldn't be at the sacrifice of losing it when they should, I'll just deal with it, man. I hear them.
And in the defense of the commenter, I'll say this. It definitely wasn't loud when they were down 21-0 or 41-14.
Yeah.
Because, everyone got punched in the gut.
But at the same time, credit to the crowd for sticking around and getting
left.
back into the game.
Nobody left. And once it became mathematical that we could do this, they were right back in it.
Yep. There hasn't yet been like a perfect – well, I guess that third down where they got the stop is like a perfect example of like a situation where everyone – because like – the CSU game, everyone's nervous. Yeah. So that takes a little bit out of the sound. Right. But this one, I think, that's like as close as it gets. Remember we were talking before, I'm like, what if they went up 14-0? Imagine how loud it'll be. Like, we haven't had one of that yet where they go out and throw the first punch.
She has such a professional headshot, too, her profile picture.
Very much
I got to
so.
step my profile picture game up.
Appreciate
I think
you guys.
mine's just like my feet in a flag or something.
Appreciate all the super chats today. Great show, man. Thanks for coming down, Unc. Appreciate you, bro.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, man. You guys were up for the presser with the players and rode in the Jake Mobile and got to listen to my playlist downstairs, making the bartender very uncomfortable.
It's just all coming up Neely today.
You got to love it. It's win-win-win, man. And got the time to spend some time with RK, man, in his vintage corduroy pants.
Those aren't vintage. But this
vintage,
is
vintage sweatshirt. I love it.
Last minute super chat from Marcus. Should Sean Lewis go to 12 personnel to get better protection and more intermediate routes?
Who's the second tight end?
That's the question.
I mean, Fourier would be the best answer, I think. Yelverton maybe, but it's clear that none of those guys have stepped up to the point where they want to go 12 personnel.
Yeah. Thank you. Because if you don't see it at practice, you're not going to see it in the game. And I don't know that going to that gives Shador better protection. I really don't. I think we just got to keep leaning on this offensive line, which y'all, come on, man, take your hats off to them. 7 sacks, 8 sacks, 2 sacks.
Yep.
I like the direction the O-line is
job.
And season high in rushing yards.
Yes. So I don't think going into Arizona, coming off that success, you go 12 personnel now. Let's make sure what we did at USC with the run game and the protection wasn't a fluke.
All right. Great show. We'll be back tomorrow.
I'm just I
was going to say.
No, you caught on pretty fast.
I got to spend a bright and early Friday morning in a plane with this guy on Friday.
You do.
And Jake is not fun
twin
that
bed
early.
in the Airbnb.
I've never seen Neely that early, but I know Jake is not fun to be around.
Yeah, you're going to
early.
get to experience morning fresh out of bed, Jake. He's not very pleasant.
It ain't new to me, man. Like it's experiencing morning Jake is new to me. I mean, me being up that early is not new to me.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
That was
Shout out,
I
chat.
had to pause myself. Like I've never seen Jake early in the morning.
Love you guys. Go Buffs.
Go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.